Oda just dropped so many things in the latest chapter, like Vegapunk real face, what happened in the Void Century, the tragic incident of Ohara, and also Dr. Vegapunk and Dragon connection, the actual reason why Dragon became a revolutionary. The chapter begins where the previous one left off, with some of the Straw Hats being shocked about what Sokka said to them on how Egghead is an island of the past. But Sokka stated that it is a theory of his. However, he also stated that someone found a machine that backed up Sokka's theory, which surprised Robin as she mentioned it. Sokka then told the Straw Hats about why Robin's homeland, Ohara, was destroyed, followed by a great battle between the ancient kingdom and the 20 royal families, who would later become today's world government, and how the ideology of the kingdom was erased. But Sokka then told them that the main reason Ohara was destroyed was because the government acknowledged the theory as the truth, and even admitted that even he could be eliminated if he knew any more than he already did, despite his affiliations with the government. These facts then inspired Robin into asking how Sokka knew about any of this, when all the documents in Ohara was destroyed during the incident. He then answered a question by telling her that he once visited Ohara not long after the incident, and was once an old acquaintance to her father figure, Professor Clover. As Robin was surprised, Sokka then told her about Clover's past, where he was once an adventurer, who was imprisoned 10 times by the government, due to his desire in wanting to know anything about the Void Century. At the same time, Sokka also told Robin about his time at the destroyed Ohara, and learned that there was a pile of books under the central lake of the island, which contained the very information that the scholars wanted to protect from the fire caused by the Buster Call. When Sokka learned that the Navy soldiers at the time were not aware of how valuable the contents of the book were, he couldn't stop shedding tears of joy, as he found out that it was not a total loss for the people of Ohara. As Robin learned about it, she remembered her last moments with her mother before they parted ways. This eventually led Robin to cry, which angered Sanji, when she agreed with what Sokka said about how Ohara wanted to try and expose the existence of the ancient kingdom. Then Sokka also told them he wanted to bring the books to Punk Hazard for further analysis, but the higher-ups wouldn't allow him to do so. However, in a flashback of Vegapunk's time in Ohara, after the incident, he encountered some giants who were taking the books out of the lake. And not only that, Vegapunk also encountered another person who he knew way back. In an amazing double spread, we soon learned that the person Vegapunk, who appeared as a large-headed person that was 43 years old at the time, met in Ohara, was none other than Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon, who was 33 years old at the time, who also came to Ohara to pay his tribute to Clover. During that moment, Dragon and Vegapunk were having a discussion on how the government portrayed the people of Ohara as evildoers, which pissed Dragon off, even though Vegapunk stated that there are some in the organization that can be trustworthy. At the same time, Dragon also noticed that the giants who are recovering the books were from Elbaf, and are led by a person who was covered in bandages. The conversation continues with Dragon expressing his disgust for how the government murdered a group of unarmed researchers, just because of an unreasonable opinion. This then inspired Dragon to create an army, which surprised Vegapunk due to the fact that Dragon is not a fan of violence. But Dragon was determined that he'll use any means to change the world, and make sure that the loss of Ohara wasn't in vain. As we return to the present, Sokka then says that it was around that time, Dragon, along with Bartholomew Kuma and Emporio Ivankov, forged the revolutionary army they knew today. After that, Sokka told them that he was so interested in the books of Ohara, that he secretly visited Elbaf in an effort to learn everything the contents had to offer, and the giants were nice enough to let him do it. As Robin was wiping her eyes from the tears she shed, she then asked Sokka if one of the giants he mentioned was her old friend Saul, which he agreed, but didn't reveal his current whereabouts for his own safety. After Robin thanked him, Sokka took her and the others to a place he wanted to show them something, even though he hadn't released them yet. Meanwhile, at the scrapyard, Luffy and Chopper were trying to find a means to make the giant robot move. And after some attempts, the robot was shaking as if it was about to explode. In the last double spread of the chapter, Luffy and the others saw an old man being stuck in a space that got distorted and needed help to get him out. The old man recognized Luffy as Dragon's son and expected that he would come sooner or later, along with Bonnie, mostly due to the fact that she visited the island before, where she recognized him as the real Dr. Vegapunk, whose head is smaller than it was during the flashback, and has an apple-like hat on his head. At the same time, Luffy was amazed that Vegapunk can float, and wondered how he did it, which he answered by telling him that there is a lever on Dom's shoes, whereby pulling it down can the flying mechanism work. Unfortunately, despite following the steps well, they ended up flying too hard. When learning that the Ohara incident was at least one part of the main reasons why Dragon forged the Revolutionary Army, I now want to know if the next chapter will be where we learn the full origin story of Luffy's father. Also, assuming that we do get Dragon's backstory, does this mean we'll finally learn who Luffy's mom is? If so, who do you think she will truly be or what she may look like? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. And that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I also asked you to subscribe to help us. I am still learning English, so forgive us for any mistake, and if you like, please subscribe.